Quake 3 Arena for the Sega Dreamcast can be played online via DreamPi and the broadband adapter. This video focuses on the PC custom maps which can now be played on the Dreamcast thanks to these people. Looking to connect your Sega Dreamcast online, there are a number of different ways. The more popular ones is DreamPi and the broadband adapter. DreamPi is a Raspberry Pi image that enables you to connect those dial-up games online. The broadband adapter is a separate piece of hardware that connects in where the modem would be, which enables you to play broadband enabled games. There's more games that are compatible with the dial-up method using DreamPi rather than the broadband adapter. The online games include Phantasy Star Online, Quake 3 Arena, Alien Front Online, Drive-In Strikers, Choo Choo Rocket, to name a few. Both methods of connecting your Dreamcast online require additional hardware or software. Dreamcast online community is a great way using Discord to arrange meetups and talk to the community. There's also lots of forums and websites out there as well. I'll put some links in the description of my favourite ones. The Dreamcast Now website is a great way to find out who's online and what game they are playing. You can also configure your DreamPi image here and also use TeamSpeak to join in some voice chats online. The Dreamcast version of Quake 3 Arena can be played cross-play with Windows and Mac users online. I've got so many fond memories of playing Quake 3 Arena online back in the day on the Dreamcast, whether it be Capture the Flag, Team Deathmatch or Free For All. Yes, the game does support keyboard and mouse, but I do prefer the controller to play this one. The PAL and NTSC versions of the game can be played online. There's also an unreleased Japanese version that can go online as well. Check out the Dreamcast info preservation site for more information. Quake 3 Revolution appeared on the PlayStation 2, supporting local multiplayer using the multi-tap. It was released before the PlayStation Network, so no online play here. Unofficial ports of Quake 3 Arena have found themselves on other platforms such as the Xbox Original. So now in this part of the video we're going to go online with a Sega Dreamcast version of Quake 3 Arena using those PC custom maps. Make sure your internet settings are correct when using DreamPi or the broadband adapter. Here we are connecting via the Dreamcast and dialing, logging in, configuring, and then connecting to the Quake 3 Arena servers. Here's the master server list. As you can see, the room is already full with players in there. A quick refresh. And there's an empty slot available for me to join, so I'm joining it. So now connecting to the server. There's also some custom loading screens. Here's just a couple of them from people within the community. We've now entered the arena. I'm using DreamPi to connect. It does support broadband adapter and I'll be using the control pad for gameplay. So now we're going to hear from the community talking about Quake as a series and also the online side of Quake 3 Arena on the Dreamcast.
Oh yes, so there's been many versions of Quake over the years. Obviously starting with Quake 1, which was on a couple systems. Obviously, yes, we've got the Sega Saturn version, which I actually think is a pretty serviceable port. If you have got it, I would actually recommend checking it out. I think it controls pretty well, and visuals are, yep, there or thereabouts. Yes, they're not going to match the PC or MS-DOS version, but hey, a serviceable port nonetheless. There is also Quake for the N64, which again is an okay version, although to me the visuals feel that little bit more blurred. The textures just aren't as crisp. But again, an okay version, and yes, you've got the multiplayer version there as well, which hey, the N64 does kind of really champion, so there is that version. We then went on obviously to Quake 2, which yes, was on quite a few systems. Again, N64, which is a totally different game to standard Quake 2 on the likes of the PC. The Quake 2 version for N64 and PS1 are totally different. Visuals are very, very lax though, and they do almost feel like they struggle when it comes to frame rate, but some people actually prefer the consoleized versions. I'm not too sure why myself. I actually prefer the PC version, but hey, nonetheless, still a great entry. Now we're coming on to Quake 3, the godfather when it comes to talking about multiplayer and online gameplay. So yes, there was a couple different versions. Obviously you got the PC version, which is one that a lot of people would have played. Yes, full online multiplayer action, absolutely fantastic. There is also a PS2 version, Quake 3 Revolution, but that lacked online. And at the end of the day, Quake 3 was really designed to be an online experience. Don't get me wrong, yes, there is split screen co-op and multiplayer, which is a bit of fun, but for me, really, it has to be the Sega Dreamcast version. Even back in the day, when you're on dial-up 33 or 56k modems, it still played great. Hey, maybe it played bad, but at the time, this was the way we played online, and we didn't really know any better. But nonetheless, the Quake 3 game for Sega Dreamcast has to be one of the best ways to play, full VMU support, keyboard and mouse, and now some other changes, James, is that right?
That's right, Alex, and thank you very much for talking about Quake as well over the years. Yes, in the background you're seeing gameplay footage of these PC maps running on the Sega Dreamcast, thanks to the people involved as mentioned at the start of the video.
Historically, when we're talking about Dreamcast online multiplayer, Quake 3 is one of the flagship titles, one of the most widespread names that you can really get in the first-person shooter genre, and overall just a great title. In addition to the Dreamcast library, it still has a huge following today, and rightfully so. It's still widely accessible on DreamPi or the broadband adapter, and pretty well easy to connect to using the most common connection means with the Dreamcast today. I have vivid memories of almost 20 years ago setting up a Dreamcast with Quake 3 in dorm rooms. We would all hook up all the controllers and always have a blast playing it, so much that we would gather groups together even when other consoles were out and still choose to play the Dreamcast in Quake 3. The following is still well and alive today, and people are still developing custom maps even today. And now currently with the release of the PC custom maps porting over to the Dreamcast, it's going to bring even more popularity to it and interest to a game that already has a nice following.
Personally, I've had a lot of very cool experience with Quake 3 Arena. I played against a friend on PC and Dreamcast, which was his first online experience on his television and on PC. We played so freaking much of Quake 3 in my childhood, so I love that game.
So, Quake 3 on the Dreamcast, what a hell of a game. The Dreamcast version does a fantastic job of capturing the PC port with impressive 3D design and a really smooth experience. Dodging rockets, jumping around all over the place, and of course, the old reliable shotgun, which in any first-person shooter is a favourite of mine. I will say though, using the Dreamcast controller is not a wise choice on the game. I personally had no luck with it, and was basically a sitting duck even against the bots while using it. So, get yourself a Dreamcast keyboard and mouse and you'll be good to go. The multiplayer aspect of this is absolutely fantastic. It's just one of them games where you can zone out and just have fun with your mates really. And just have a good time and watch the hours just disappear. Which makes me think, maybe there's not enough pick up and play games these days, which makes Quake 3 one of my personal favourites for the Dreamcast, long as you've got that keyboard and mouse. Now there is a single player mode, which is more like a tutorial for the game, you know, to get up to scratch before jumping into the Chaos Online. And yeah, it's nice to have. Explore the levels, weapons, and get stuck into the online experience. I mean, if you've played a first-person shooter before, it won't take much to get up to speed. Now, there's not many first-person shooter games on the Sega Dreamcast. Soldier of Fortune, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. You know, they're the only other ones that come close. And we won't mention the Kiss Psycho Circus game as much as I want to like it. It's pants. I would definitely say that Quake 3 is the best on the system. And if you never played it, you're missing out. Get involved.
In this part of the video, I speak to Mechanic, a member of the Dreamcast community. He kindly answered my questions in a text form. With his blessing, I used a text-to-speak app. The voice won't be his, but instead of just hearing my voice answering the questions, it's a little bit different.
Hi, Mechanic here.
When did you first start playing Quake 3 Arena? Was it the Dreamcast or on another platform?
Started on the Dreamcast at its release. Haven't owned a PC yet, so you can say the Dreamcast was my first online gaming machine.
Are you a keyboard and mouse player, or do you prefer the controller?
Mouse and keyboard all the way, boom.
How do you feel the controls compared to other first-person shooters on the Dreamcast?
Superior, since you have many configurations to choose from.
What made you choose this project, getting PC maps on the Dreamcast version of Quake 3 Arena?
As a Frag Night host, I'm always looking for ways to mod the servers and keep things interesting. Once I heard Moi was interested in beta testers for his new Quake 3 Arena maps, I figured who better to test them than the regulars on Frag Night.
What was the process of getting PC custom maps on the Dreamcast?
Moi developed the PC to Dreamcast map convertion method. He could probably give you more info on that. I basically modded the GDI with these already converted maps. A lot of testing had to be done to see which maps performed well on the Dreamcast hardware once I added all the textures.
How much different are these maps to the standard maps that appear on Quake 3 Arena already?
Some maps are just larger, one has floating platforms, couple have underwater areas, and one actually has functional ice. None of which are present in the standard maps. Oh, and the fact that we have Unreal Tournament, Call of Duty, and Counter-Strike maps in there as well make it basically a new game.
Are there any plans for any more maps being added?
Yup, but that will be a while.
When can people join in the action for online meetups?
Mainly for Quake, it's Frag Night Friday, every Friday starting at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time. Sega Online Discord community always has stuff going on as well.
And lastly, any shout-outs you want to give to anyone that's helped with any sort of testing?
First and foremost, it would have to be Moi, developer who converted these maps and got this thing started, and the Frag Night testing crew. Holson, Sir Rakam Sakam, Albush, Iraq, Griad NT, Deluxex, Shindigo, Mr. Video, Bob Dobbs, Mother B, and Hawk Zero.
Thank you very much, Mechanic. Yes, it wasn't his real voice, he answered those questions via text form, but I just wanted to add some audio to make it a little bit interesting in this video. I thoroughly enjoy playing these maps online. Around 30 of these have now been added. There are new water elements, there's new ice elements, there's maps that you may recognise from other games as well. It just adds a whole new element to this game. Really, really good work from everybody that was testing it and getting these maps to the Dreamcast version. The Dreamcast online community is a very nice community that we have here. People are so welcoming, whether I'm joining a voice chat when people are playing Maximum Pool, they were this evening, and I asked them if they wanted to play some Quake 3 Arena. All of them jumped over for this footage that you'll see in the background. Very good indeed. To download this for yourself, visit the Dreamcast Talk forums. All details will be in the description below. I'd like to thank everybody that's had some input into this video, whether it be just being in the online server whilst I'm playing on this game, their thoughts and their feedbacks about Quake over the years or Quake 3 Arena online or offline, and also you that's taken out the time to watch this video, whether you're liking it, commenting on it or anything. It really does mean a lot. Until next time, take care, all the best, bye bye.